Welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This one's going to look a little different. It's going to feel a little different, and it's going to sound a little different. I was fortunate enough to have a booth at the NRA annual meetings, Radio Row, which is something new the NRA is doing at their annual meetings. I was able to do a number of audio-only interviews, and what you're about to hear is one of those. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. If you're listening to the show in podcast form, please leave a positive review. And if you like the show, share it with your friends, because that is how we get the Stagecoach across America. It's portable. It works. It gets the audio. Doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
This is cool. All right, let's kick it off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. This is a quick pit stop, and we are recording some audio-only shows on the floor of the NRA and NRA 2025 in Atlanta. And my guest right now is Bryan Eastridge from
AmericanFightingRevolver.com.
AmericanFightingRevolver.com. I love this because I'm a revolver guy.
Excellent.
And I know that I don't have enough revolvers, because when I teach classes, I always tell people the cylinder release can go forward or backward or in towards the frame. It depends on if you have a Nissan, a Chevy, or a Ford.
Right.
And I only have Smiths, so I can only push it forward. So I know I need to get more revolvers so I can show them different cylinder releases.
Yeah.
So before we kick things off, I want to let you know that Hickok 45 came by.
Oh,
I had him. I had him, and he said this needs to be a really quick show because you really don't know anything about revolvers.
Yeah, so. Yeah. He and I, we bounce off of each other at trade shows, and I got 20 minutes with Hickok this morning.
Nice.
And that was, of all the years I've known him, that was the longest conversation we've ever had. So,
well, see, what I like about my regular show is I get people in the car and drive them around.
Right.
So he was kind of a stuck audience. And when I went to go film a show with him a little over 4 years ago in Nashville, there was a snowstorm, and the people in the South can't drive in the snow. So
I get it.
Yeah. So I'm from the North. It wasn't too big of a deal. They don't really plow stuff. The lady at our hotel, she's like, I'm fixing to stay here for 3 days. I can't go anywhere. I'm like, really? You got an inch and a half of snow. You'll be fine. Anyway, so let's talk about this. I love that there are, I don't want to say young guys, but I don't want to say old guys, but there's becoming a resurrection of revolvers.
Yeah. So interesting. Like I'm kind of a numbers guy. I like to dig into the numbers, the data. And what I see is like subscriptions to our site and pass through and things like that is from 21 to about 31, 32.
Yeah.
There is this huge resurgence of revolver interest there.
Very cool.
And I think it kind of goes along with, a few years ago, vinyl was a thing.
Oh my gosh.
And, you're seeing kids, I say kids like they're not adults, but these younger generation were like buying vinyl records that I had as a kid and my dad had as a kid.
My son and my daughter, my son's 24, my daughter's 22. They're going to a concert at the end of this summer. You will not believe who they are going to see.
Toto.
Those are young
Sticks.
kids. My kids are going to see. Who are they going to see? They're going to see Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan.
Even better.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
We have a fan club walking up. It's cool.
Yeah.
But
the hot chicks are here to see you, man.
Can you blame them? They're human. No, I am very, very happily married for the first time.
Keep stammering over that. That'll be fine.
But yeah, this 21-year-old and to about 32, we're seeing this huge uptick in the revolver space. And the companies now are building what I would call like homage revolvers. So think about Colt, right? They quit making the Python in any volume in 2000. So most of these kids have never had the opportunity to own a vintage Python, and they're kind of got unaffordable.
Oh,
and
my
now
gosh.
Colt releases a new gun, or, the Blued Python is what, the handgun of the year this year.
Yeah.
So you look at that and go, wow, they're building something that is aesthetically very similar and functionally in some ways better than the vintage guns. And then Smith & Wesson, you just saw them release the new classic Model 10.
Right.
It looks like kind of like the old Victory model, a tapered barrel, square butt. So there's a market there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Daryl and I both grew up in law enforcement. I was in a very revolver heavy area of competition shooting, and he grew up going through a police academy with revolvers. So we're kind of like torchbearers of some of this knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this gap from like 32 to about 48, 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get in my age, 46 plus, we're starting to see a new found like connection with revolvers. We're still trying to figure out how to get that like 31 to 45-year-old market off of the plastic stuff and onto the steel and wood, right?
I call them bottom feeders.
Well, yeah. And I carry bottom feeders. I mean, a lot of us do. It's just, it's one of those things that, hey, a revolver will never take the place of a semi-auto in a military or a police duty holster.
Sure.
But man, they make a great pocket gun. They make a really reliable, really robust, normal earth people gun, right?
Normal earth people gun.
Yeah. I'm not in danger of going and running a high risk warrant anymore.
Right.
So I just kind of want to like go to my mailbox and maybe have some type of, some layer of personal protection there,
right.
or the local grocery store or something. And I don't want to put on a magazine carrier and this and a that,
right.
and all the support gear that goes with it, where I can comfortably carry a revolver in my pocket. And, that's to me, it fits a niche, and that niche is everybody. So,
right. You got to narrow your target down, right?
Yeah, right.
You got to come up with your avatar, and it's everybody. That's great.
100%.
Before I became a gun guy, I didn't turn into a gun guy until I was in my early 30s. And I had in my mind, I had the, I don't know, fantasy, that's not the right word for it, but the idea that I would carry a small J-frame. And I didn't know there were J-frames. I just knew there were snub revolvers. That's what the game plan was. And I remember one of the guys I used to play in a band with, I said, hey, I want to become a gun guy and I want to start carrying a gun. He's like, you want to carry a 38? What are you, crazy? Are you nuts? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. But he was just the non-gun guy, right?
Yeah.
And that was my objective was to carry a revolver, and that's what I carry.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me that how many people have a snub 38 revolver that carry it and really know nothing about the nuance of carrying it, shooting it, things like that. It's it's a fire extinguisher to them. Right. My granddad was a good example.
We have one in the house, but we don't know how to use it.
Yeah. But does it safely fit that niche for people? I mean, how do you tell that it's loaded or unloaded? You push a button and you can see if there's shiny things, it's loaded, right?
Right. If there's holes in it, you're okay.
And I can tell you from firsthand experience, every police gun range that I've been to in the last 22 years has a hole in it somewhere, from professionals that get that hole, remove the magazine, and then eject the round from the chamber thing out of order. And these are people that carry guns every single day.
Right.
And they're trained to a standardized level.
Right.
So if that's the case with that, if my mom says, man, I really want a gun for the house, is there anything wrong with me getting her a Model 10?
No, not at all.
Yeah, push the button, the cylinder opens, there's BBs in it or not. It's pretty simple manual of arms. So, so we really are trying to bring a lot of that knowledge that we had from, years of training with them, competing with them, and bring that back to maybe not the level it was in the 70s or the 80s, but show people, hey, there's still a place for that, and there's still guys out here that know how to use these. And in my case, I do a fair amount of gunsmithing work. So I still remember how to service those guns and actually keep them running and do custom work, bob hammers and do all the things, right?
Yeah.
And at 46, apparently that's an anomaly now. Like most people my age don't do that for fun.
Right.
So they're busy burning Glocks with a soldering iron or whatever. And so, yeah, it's an interesting time because manufacturing and materials are good. They're way better materials than they used to be. The manufacturing processes are way more streamlined. They can build a relatively robust product at an affordable price point.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I was talking to a guy today, these used $400 K-frame revolvers that are floating around that are police trade-ins.
Yeah.
To recreate that today would make that almost unaffordable. Just simply because of the amount of hand labor that went into building those.
Right.
So now these companies are providing us options that are really good at a relatively affordable price point. So, man, I mean, even the new production Pythons, they're fantastic guns. They're gorgeous. And they're at a level of manufacturing that they don't have to charge $4,000 plus to make those, So,
Totally.
Yeah. So it's an interesting time, man.
Cool. We only have a couple minutes left. Tell us about the YouTube channel.
So we have the YouTube channel is a spinoff of our subscription paywall website. We decided, people don't seem to like to read magazines as much, and both of us have done some independent journalism. So we do AmericanFightingRevolver.com, and that's where we do all the primo revolver stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's also where we do manufacturers consulting. They contact us through that. But it's $5 a month. You get online, and we'll tell you about the history of the registered Magnum and the Combat Python and the Shooting Master and all these really high-end collectibles, and even like police trade-in guns. We do a Wheel Gun Wednesday feature.
Yeah.
And then from that, we spiraled a YouTube channel called and we call it the Fighting Guns Podcast. And it is all the eclectic stuff that we can't do behind the revolver space. So our last one was on single-shot rifles, like the Ruger No. 1. We'll do lever guns, 1911s. We did a couple-ish episodes on revolvers and some development, but we're expanding that platform into just like everything that's not revolvers that we still love, like single action armies and stuff like that, because even some of those guns are back on the rise. I mean, Ruger No. 1s they're back. They're being produced again. So, there's a lot of great stuff out there. And I think people just getting into gun world, that there's a lot of that nuance that's kind of lost, and we're trying to preserve some of that legacy and history and just get people into enjoying guns that are not just revolvers. So,
Very cool. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem.
This was nice. I look forward to running into you again, and we should. I interview people in the car. We need to get you.
We should get in get some coffee, get in the car, and I'm a terrible driver, so you'll have to handle. I'm a pretty good driver. Good, you'll have to handle that part.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Somehow I can drive pretty well. All right. Well, listen. Thank you very much. This is a pleasure.
Charlie.
We'll put some links below to
AmericanFightingRevolver.com.
All
There
right.
you go, Charlie. There's a patch for you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, sir.
It's that.com.
It's that. All right. Well, very cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for listening. Share with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon.